and welcome to South Today. There's been a dramatic increase in the amount hospitals in the South are spending on super large beds, wheelchairs and equipment for obese patients. Figures obtained by the BBC show that costs have risen rapidly at some hospitals, a symptom of the growing obesity problem which affects 1 in 4 of the population. In Southampton, spending on bariatric equipment increased from just over £30,000 to nearly £75,000 in a year. Now, that included a special bed to take patients weighing up to 60 stone and a chair which can hold a 50-stone patient. In Berkshire, they spent £100,000, almost twice as much as last year, and that included buying a bariatric simulation suit to help nurses learn how to move and treat heavy people. Other hospitals have bought hoists, reinforced toilets and mattresses that hover to help move patients after surgery. Although costs have gone up, treating very obese patients effectively can lead to long-term savings for the NHS. Our health correspondent David Fenton has this exclusive report.
So we'll just recap because your operation's coming up.
Tracy Whiten is having a gastric bypass. She's 25 stone and she's been trying to lose weight for years. It hasn't worked. She now has type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea and depression.
I'm hoping surgery will achieve that I'll have a slimmer body, I can walk my dogs, I'll get my health back, hopefully come off the medication and walk my daughter down the aisle when she gets married.
And get you to stand on the scales, please.
1 in 4 people are now morbidly obese, and to cope with that, hospitals are having to buy and rent special equipment, beds, wheelchairs and scales.
That's excellent, well done, you're on the right trajectory. Patients are a lot heavier. We generally operate on patients with about 160, 170 kilos of weight, and we've done up to 250 kilos here. So the equipment does need to be different.
A 2-person transfer is recommended to assure that your patient is not over-transferred.
In surgery, special hover mats that float on air are now being used to lift heavy patients on and off the operating tables. And bariatric simulation suits, like this one, teach nurses how to handle and care for the obese. More people are having surgery to lose weight, but the problem of very heavy patients is being felt in all parts of our hospitals.
What we've noticed over the last few years is we have more mums who are presenting pregnant, who are overweight or indeed obese, and it's causing a considerable problem for us, not only because they require more care during their pregnancy and labour, but we have to have specialist equipment for them to care for them properly.
Specialist gear like this doesn't come cheap. This hospital has spent nearly £60,000 a year on obesity equipment, and it's not alone.
Well, David's here with me in the studio now. We've just been seen people being treated for obesity problems, but that's not the full story, is it?
Well, it's not, Sally, because, you know, what we saw there was Tracy coming in for her operation for her obesity, but a lot of obese patients are coming into hospitals for other things, of course. You know, there are very many heavy mums coming in to have their babies. They need to be looked after. People are coming in with joint problems, heart problems and all those sorts of things. But one of the biggest issues is people with type 2 diabetes, and that is very closely linked to obesity. And something like 1 in 7 hospital beds now are occupied by people with diabetes.
At the moment, the NHS is spending about £10 billion of its budget treating diabetes, and most of this money goes into treating complications of diabetes. So if there's any opportunity that we can use part of this money to treat obesity, and by so doing, prevent people from going on to develop type 2 diabetes, it will be money well spent.
So that's prevention being talked about there, but you know, this is quite a serious problem we're going to see, and people have gone way beyond that.
Well, they have. And one surgeon told me when you get to a certain weight, really the options are very limited. You know, you probably need surgery and nothing else is going to do it for you. And, you know, we've spoken just now about the cost to the NHS in money terms, but there's also a cost in time and effort. I mean, it takes more nurses to move a 30-stone man than it does a 13-stone man. But the NHS is there for everyone, large or small, and hospitals have to accommodate these patients.
You've seen some of the equipment today. What did you make of it?
It's quite eye-opening, really, when you sit in a waiting room and you see a chair which is 3 feet wide, and then the wheelchairs coming down the corridors. They're so sort of wide, you know, they can barely get down. But this is the future, really, and hospitals are just going to have to accommodate.
It's not going to go away.
No.
David, thank you very much.